Hey, listen, when I got in this business is in '69 and there were no roles for black folks.
Yes.
So I understood that I had to pave my own path. I had to create my own, right? Because I walked in there and it was a built-in no, and I had to find a way to turn those heads around.
Richard Lawson just spilled the kind of tea that makes the internet lose its mind. He's confirming what fans have been whispering for years, that Beyoncé might have actually sabotaged her own stepsister Bianca Lawson's career. Crazy, right? Richard, who's not just any Hollywood vet but also Tina Knowles' ex-husband and Beyoncé's former stepdad, just hinted at something that could shake the Carter family tree. See, Bianca is Richard's daughter, which made her Beyoncé and Solange's stepsister back in the day. And let's be real, Bianca's resume is stacked. Saved by the Bell, The New Class, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Pretty Little Liars, Queen Sugar. She's been putting in work for decades. Still, she's never hit that A-list spotlight like her famous stepsis. She's always the actress you recognize instantly but can't quite name. The one stealing every scene but never getting her face on those big Hollywood billboards. Now here's where it gets spicy. In a recent convo, Richard didn't drop any names, but his words had everybody clutching their phones. He talked about Bianca's insane talent, her grind, and how industry politics stopped her from going further. Fans instantly read between the lines. Was he hinting that Beyoncé herself played a role in keeping Bianca from shining too bright? When somebody who's been married into the Knowles family starts talking about politics, the internet doesn't hear Hollywood politics. They hear Knowles-Carter politics, and that's where the drama explodes. Richard's words hit right in the middle of old rumors, the ones claiming Beyoncé's camp made sure no one around her ever shined brighter than the queen herself. See, Bianca Lawson had the full package, the looks, the acting skills, and the hustle. She could have easily been that girl, but somehow, she always ended up playing the best friend, the sister, the background beauty, never the leading lady. Fans are now connecting the dots and saying Beyoncé might have liked it that way, keeping the spotlight all to herself. And here's the part that's really stirring things up. Richard has always been Bianca's biggest supporter. Every interview, every red carpet, he's out there praising her like the proud dad he is. So when his tone suddenly changes, when he starts hinting that unseen forces may have held her back, fans can't help but take that as confirmation of what they've suspected since the early 2000s. And honestly, it's hard to ignore the timing of all this heat. Hollywood's packed with stories of superstars guarding their spotlight by dimming everyone else's light. From Diana Ross versus Florence Ballard to Madonna and her proteges, it's a tale as old as fame itself. Even in more modern times, people have said Kris Jenner kept all eyes on Kim while Khloe and Kourtney played the sidelines. Because in this business, fame is currency, and not even blood can stop someone from protecting their empire. Now the messy question everyone's asking is loud and clear. Did Beyoncé, the most powerful black woman in music, really pull strings to keep her own stepsister from reaching A-list status? Richard Lawson didn't have to call names because the internet did it for him. His comments lit up timelines, and now it's trending everywhere. And here's the gag. In a family built on talent, image, and perfection, the thought of one sister allegedly blocking another's shine? That's a scandal too big to hide behind even a Beyoncé Vogue cover.
Life became what it was, in terms of the girls and what they created, and then we kind of lost track of each other throughout those developmental years, and then when we reconnected, there was a lot of affinity that we had and respect.
If you've been watching TV or movies anytime in the last 30 years, you've seen Bianca Lawson's face, even if you didn't realize it. She's one of those actresses who shows up in everything, absolutely owns her scenes, and then quietly fades into the background while the spotlight shifts to someone else. Crazy, right? And that's exactly why fans are now side-eyeing her entire resume. When you line up all her credits, it's clear. Bianca should have been a household name by now. Let's take it back to the start. She broke into Hollywood in the mid-1990s with Saved by the Bell, The New Class, and from the jump, She had that rare mix of charm, beauty, and star power that makes casting directors obsessed. Then came Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where she played the fierce and unforgettable Kendra the Vampire Slayer, a role fans still gush over decades later. And she didn't stop there. Bianca slid straight into teen TV royalty with shows like Dawson's Creek, Pretty Little Liars, and The Secret Life of the American Teenager. She's been everywhere, so how's she still not a superstar? If you watched any show that defined a generation, then you've definitely seen Bianca Lawson. She was everywhere, and her run didn't stop with teen dramas either. The legendary Ava DuVernay personally cast her in Queen Sugar, where Bianca gave one of her most powerful performances ever. That role proved she wasn't just another pretty face. She was a serious actress with depth, emotion, and layers. She could flip from slaying demons on Buffy to breaking hearts in small-town Louisiana like it was nothing. But here's the mystery. With all that talent and consistency, Bianca still never hit that major breakout. No huge blockbuster, no headline-making lead role, no cultural-defining character that launched her into superstardom. It's like she's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Always booked and busy, but somehow never crowned. And now the whispers are getting louder. Because normally, an actress with her kind of resume would have had her big Hollywood moment by now. Some people say it's all about timing, that the late 90s and early 2000s weren't exactly overflowing with lead roles for black actresses, unless your name was Halle Berry or Angela Bassett. But others, they're not buying that excuse. They're saying something, or someone, made sure Bianca stayed right where she was. People can't stop asking the same question. How did Bianca Lawson, with all her talent, consistency, and deep Hollywood connections, never reach the level she deserved? Her dad is veteran actor Richard Lawson. Her former stepmom is Tina Knowles, and her stepsister is none other than Beyoncé. So how did she never level up? That's exactly where the sabotage rumors start creeping back in. Fans are saying Beyoncé's superstardom created such a massive shadow that Bianca was never really allowed to step out of it. The internet's even breaking down the timeline. Bianca's rise could have easily overlapped with Beyoncé's peak. While Bey was being crowned the global face of black excellence, Bianca's path toward A-list fame might have been viewed as a distraction, or worse, competition, for the family brand. It sounds messy, but in Hollywood, that kind of thing happens more often than people realize. Think about it. Janet Jackson's acting career never exploded because the Jackson machine boxed her into pop stardom. Or how Solange carved out her own lane as the artsy sister, because going toe-to-toe with Beyoncé in the same lane was career suicide. Families in the industry know the truth. There's usually room for only one superstar. And when you really look at it, Bianca Lawson had everything. The look, the skill, the resume, she should have been that girl. Instead, she's the face everyone recognizes but can't quite name. So when Richard Lawson hinted about politics, it hit hard. Because now fans aren't calling it bad luck anymore. They're asking the real question. Did those politics have Beyoncé's fingerprints all over them?
It's that, she didn't stop short of what, of failure. Meaning that she was going for her image and what she saw in her mind, and she wouldn't accept no for an answer on any level. She would go for it, no matter the cost. She just would go.
This is where the whispers turn downright messy. It's one thing for fans to say Bianca Lawson never got her flowers, but it's another level entirely when people start believing Beyoncé herself might have had a hand in making sure those flowers never got delivered. That's the kind of talk that shakes the internet. Now, to be fair, Beyoncé has never spoken publicly about Bianca's career, but her silence? Woo, it's loud. And Richard Lawson's recent comments about politics just poured straight gasoline on the fire. Fans are connecting the dots, and it's not hard to see why. In Hollywood, power runs everything. And during the time Bianca's career was supposed to skyrocket, who had more power than Beyoncé? Here's what people are saying. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Bianca was quietly building momentum, booking roles in cult classics while Beyoncé was breaking away from Destiny's Child to launch her solo career. That was the era when Beyoncé and her team were laser focused on building her image as the ultimate global superstar. The voice, the face, the standard. But some insiders claim that part of that strategy included keeping her circle clean. No distractions, no competition, and definitely no other black woman in her orbit outshining her. And if that's true, it makes Richard's words hit even harder. Think about it. Bianca Lawson had the range to do it all. Teen drama, supernatural, family sagas. She could switch it up effortlessly. With the right backing, she could have been a household name. But instead, she got stuck playing the side roles. The cousin, the best friend, the girl who pops up in season 2 and vanishes by season 3. Meanwhile, Beyoncé was out here landing major roles like Dreamgirls and building her ultimate singer-actress empire. Both women were grinding at the same time, but only one was allowed to dominate headlines. Suspicious, right? And if that sounds wild, remember, Hollywood's sabotage isn't new. Diana Ross was rumored to edge Florence Ballard out of the Supremes, Madonna was accused of blackballing young talent, and even Kris Jenner allegedly kept the spotlight glued to Kim while her sisters faded into the background. Fame's a cutthroat game, and Richard Lawson's quiet words, fans are convinced that was his subtle confirmation. In one interview, Richard Lawson said, "Bianca is one of the most talented actresses working today, but talent doesn't always mean opportunity. Sometimes politics are involved." He never said Beyoncé's name, but come on. When your daughter's Bianca Lawson and your ex-wife's Tina Knowles, who else could those politics be about? The whispers go beyond just blocked roles. Rumor has it, Beyoncé's camp wanted the family brand centered only on her. No distractions, no competition. A breakout Bianca would have shaken things up big time. Imagine those headlines. Beyoncé's stepsister becomes Hollywood starlet. That alone could have cracked the Carter image. And if there's one thing we all know about that brand, it's all about control. Now, none of this is proven. It's all alleged. But fans are convinced. In the world of gossip, perception is power. And right now, the perception is that Beyoncé dimmed Bianca's light on purpose, which makes Richard's subtle nod to politics sound less like industry talk and more like a quiet confirmation. Richard Lawson didn't even need to say her name. The internet did it for him, and now things are straight up chaotic. Social media has turned Bianca versus Beyoncé into a full-blown family feud, and the comment sections, whoo, hotter than a summer cookout fight. The moment Richard mentioned politics, fans went wild. On one side, you've got the Bianca stans, the loyal ones who've been riding with her since Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Pretty Little Liars. They've always said Bianca deserved way more shine, calling her the queen of always booked, never hyped. To them, Richard's words were proof of what they've been whispering for years, that something deeper was holding Bianca back. But the Bayhive, they weren't having it. They flooded the comments defending their queen, calling the whole thing a reach and pure fan fiction. Now, the internet split into two worlds, one where Beyoncé's the mastermind behind Bianca's stalled rise, and another where Bianca just chose to play it safe instead of chasing the fame full throttle. Here's what keeps this drama burning. Bianca Lawson's career has always been right on the edge of stardom. She's that familiar face everyone recognizes, but never the one on the magazine cover. And that's exactly why the sabotage theory hits so hard. In a family where Beyoncé rose to global icon status, Bianca staying in the supporting lane looks way too suspicious to fans. And you know the internet loves messy theories. People started digging up old gossip receipts, blind items from the early 2000s hinting that a world-famous singer froze out another woman in her circle to protect her brand. Tumblr threads even accused Beyoncé of being cutthroat behind the scenes, comparing her rise from Destiny's Child to solo superstardom, while Latavia and LaToya disappeared from the spotlight. Whether it's fair or not, fans say the pattern feels familiar. Then things got even wilder. Twitter threads popped up showing Bianca's best acting moments side by side with Beyoncé's movie clips, with captions like, "Lawson deserved the Oscar." Others flipped it, posting Beyoncé's Grammy wins next to shots of Bianca labeled booked and busy background actress. And what makes it sting the most? This isn't just gossip, it's family. These two are sisters by marriage, and that's why fans are eating this up. They're not just debating careers anymore. They're asking if Beyoncé really kept her own stepsister in the shadows to protect her throne. Now, the talk isn't just about Hollywood politics, it's about family politics, and that always cuts deeper. When family's involved, betrayal hits different. This isn't just a celebrity rumor anymore. It's a story about fame, blended families, and that ugly clash between blood and brand. That's why Richard Lawson's words hit so hard, because once you strip away the glamour, you're not just looking at Bianca Lawson's stalled career or Beyoncé's superstardom. You're looking at what happens when two talented women, tied by family, end up on completely different levels of fame, with whispers that one might have blocked the other's rise. Let's rewind for a second. Richard Lawson married Tina Knowles in 2015, officially blending the Lawson and Knowles clans. That made Bianca the stepsister of Beyoncé and Solange, turning the family into a full Hollywood powerhouse. Acting royalty meets music royalty. From the outside, it looked like everyone was destined to shine. But inside, Bianca's career stayed steady but never blew up. Always respected, never explosive. So when Richard started talking about politics, people couldn't help but wonder, was he talking about Hollywood or the politics happening right inside his own home? Because when fame and family mix, somebody's bound to get burned. Just look at other famous families. Michael Jackson's stardom outshined all his siblings, creating lifelong tension. Or the Kardashians, where Kim's spotlight swallowed up Kourtney and Khloe for years. In families like these, there's usually room for only one star. So when Beyoncé became a global icon, it's not hard to believe Bianca Lawson's rise might have been seen as a distraction to the brand. What makes it hurt even more is that Bianca isn't just any actress, she's respected. Co-stars rave about her, directors praise her work ethic, and fans adore her versatility. She's played teens well into her 30s, jumped across genres, and starred in shows that helped define entire eras of TV. In any other world, she'd be holding Emmys and leading major franchises by now. But instead, she became Hollywood's ultimate scene stealer, never the star. And that gap between her insane talent and the recognition she should have gotten? That's exactly where fans slot in Beyoncé's alleged sabotage. Richard Lawson might never say it outright, but by calling it politics, fans swear he already said it all. When you think about how fiercely Beyoncé guards her image, her brand, her crown, it's easy to see why some folks believe she wouldn't want anyone, even family, threatening that empire. So what's next? Bianca Lawson will probably keep doing what she's always done, taking every role, delivering flawless performances, and staying that unforgettable face you recognize even if you can't place her name. Meanwhile, Beyoncé will keep reigning as Queen Bey, untouchable, unbothered, and unmatched. And as for Richard Lawson, his words cracked the door open just enough for the internet to run wild with it. Because honestly, at this point, whether Beyoncé actually sabotaged Bianca's career or not, almost doesn't matter. The rumor's alive, the debate's trending, and Bianca's finally getting the attention she always deserved. If fame is really a game of power, Beyoncé is already the winner. But if history remembers Bianca as the star who was never allowed to rise, Richard Lawson's quiet confession might just be the line that rewrites the whole Knowles-Lawson legacy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more wild Hollywood breakdowns. See you on the next one.